Hope, and today I'm going to be talking about one of the literal most controversial topics on my YouTube channel for about like 2 or 3 years. Since I quit 7 Gymnastics Girls like 3 years ago and then officially announced that I quit gymnastics a year and a half ago, I still get comments to this day about why I quit gymnastics, why I stopped doing it, and so many people seem to be quite concerned with why I quit gymnastics and stopped. I feel like it's not that big of a deal, and I feel like people make it way bigger of a deal than it actually is. But since I was on 7 Gymnastics Girls and most of my viewers are from 7 Gymnastics Girls, I'm going to clear things up because I do get comments about it all the time and I've never actually fully explained. So I guess this is a story time video. So many of you guys have asked for story times, and honestly nothing that crazy happens in my life. Like, I don't have any stories to tell. I feel like most story times are like the time I got robbed and poisoned at the same time, or the time my ex-boyfriend's sister's cousin's mother's grandfather's cat tried to kill me. Like, these stories are literally like crazy and over-exaggerated, and I just don't have stories like that in my life. I am literally a 17-year-old girl that none of that happens to me. So here is my story of why I quit gymnastics, inspired by you guys. Now, what really sparked this video for me is because all the time I still get comments about gymnastics, but recently I got a comment, and I'm not sure if it was being nice or if it was being sarcastic. Like, I really can't tell. Regardless, it just kind of sparked me to make a video discussing why I quit gymnastics, and I'll read you the comment. So it said, "To be honest, Hope, you've helped me so much with everything." And I was like, "Aw, like, thanks." But then they proceeded to say, "You also taught me that if I want to be very good at one thing, I must only focus on one thing, like how you dropped gymnastics and focused more on school." I feel like, I don't know if that was positive or not positive, but regardless, that message that they were writing is absolutely wrong and incorrect. If you want to be good at something, you can't drop everything that you're doing and just do that. Like, okay, obviously number one, school is a big deal. I am going to be going to school all the way up until I'm like 22 years old. I went to gymnastics for 7 years. That's only such a minuscule part of my life, but schooling is at least a third of my life. And sometimes you have to make ends meet for certain things, like, oh, gymnastics is taking up a lot of my time. Like, yeah, maybe I should focus more on school. Like, you know, like, I don't know how to explain it, but sometimes, like, there's sacrifices that you have to make for certain things, and I don't know, this person's comment was just totally inaccurate, and I do not teach that, and whether they were being nice or sarcastic, I don't teach that. Sometimes you have to make sacrifices, that's all I have to say. Amen. But there was way more to just school than why I quit gymnastics. So I don't know how in detail I'm about to get, so this video might be 10 minutes long, it might be 20 minutes long, I don't know, but I'm just going to try to explain why I quit gymnastics in the best possible way that I can. So let's just get started. So I started gymnastics when I was 9 years old. That's kind of later than most people, but I started in level 2. And this is before like the big change of gymnastics levels. So if you're a gymnast right now, you would know, like, there was a point of literally last year or 2 years ago or something where all the levels changed, and I started when I was 9 and I started in level 2, and then I just had to go to level 3. I got moved up to pre-team and then eventually to team. So as I said, I started when I was 9, and honestly, if you want to get really good at something such as gymnastics, a sport like gymnastics, starting young is the key. 9 isn't late, but I started competing when I was 11 years old, and I do feel like that was kind of late, especially since I did compulsories. Like, I didn't just go to prep op or excel. I just went to compulsories as an 11-year-old. I was in 7th grade. So basically I was still like doing compulsory routines, like, which compulsories are like the same, like the routines where everyone is doing the same exact routines, those kind of levels. So I was still doing compulsories in high school. 7th grade I was in level 4. 8th grade I was in level 5. Then 9th grade I got held back a year because my bars was very bad and it was not fit for me to move up. Like, I still didn't have my kip going into my second year. I was just really bad at bars. Just that in general, doing compulsory gymnastics until high school is kind of discouraging, not gonna lie, just because there are so many better gymnasts at my school. I knew like 2 girls that were like level 10s, and I knew a bunch of level 8s and 9s and stuff that all went to my school, and that was very discouraging because everyone knew I was a gymnast because of 7 gymnastics girls. So when people would compare me to those people, it would just kind of suck because I'd be like, yeah, like they're out here pulling double backs, and here I am, I can do a back tuck on a good day. So I'm kind of jumping all over the place for a minute just because I'm just like laying you guys down the facts right now before we get into actually why I quit. So then sophomore year, I quit 7 gymnastics girls. I quit because things were just getting weirder. I didn't like that I wasn't allowed to wear shorts or anything, because the whole point of 7 gymnastics girls is showing like you need to present yourself as a professional gymnast, like you're about to compete, and that totally makes sense. It was just kind of uncomfortable for me because I'm not the skinniest person ever. I'm not skinny. Like, I'm a very average person, and just I did get a lot of hate comments like, she's chunky, why is she in a leotard? And plus I was on 7 gymnastics girls since like the beginning of 8th grade, and I kind of quit halfway through sophomore year. I was repeating a lot of the same themes, and I just thought it was time for me to move on, focus more on Nicole's videos for 7 Supergirls. That is a huge, huge thing. Like 7 Supergirls is huge, and I film and edit, so I wanted to dedicate my time towards that. I wanted to dedicate time more towards my beauty channel, and gymnastics just wasn't as big of a deal to me because cheer was very important, my schoolwork was very important. In my goodbye video, I didn't want to explain the full reason because I didn't want you guys to be mad at me or anything, but I did quit for a multiple of reasons, and I kind of mostly explained most of them, but that was just kind of why I quit 7 gymnastics girls. But once I quit 7 gymnastics girls, my life had way less gymnastics in it because YouTube and gymnastics were a huge part of my life, and I just totally cut the gymnastics aspect out of my YouTube. So it was like I was only getting like half of what I do for gymnastics. So gymnastics was only in my life like less than it was before. I still love gymnastics regardless. At this point I was getting so many skills, like everything was good. But gymnastics was just less of an importance to me because 7 gymnastics girls was basically over and I was growing up. So I already explained like how I wasn't as good as the girls that were my age at my high school and stuff, but as I was getting older, at the time I quit 7 gymnastics girls, I was an Excel Gold, and I got moved up to Excel Platinum after that, and basically I was just kind of embarrassed with myself because I just was not as good as the other girls, and it kind of sucked. Like, I wasn't the hardest of workers. My work ethic is totally off. You guys know that because of my YouTube. I'm bad at uploading. But like, still, I was just not as good as the other girls because the gym that I go to, it's a very small gym, so rather than just being friends with just your level like a lot of gyms are, you are friends with anyone and everyone in every single level. Well, that's how it was when I went. I don't know how it is now, but you were basically friends with everyone. If you were in the compulsory levels, you would just kind of be friends with your compulsory people, but if you were in the not compulsory levels, which I was in Excel, so I wasn't really that good. Like, Excel is for like more of like high schoolers when you're older, but you're just not as good, so you don't do like, so you can make your own routines and stuff and feel a lot more mature. But since I was friends with these girls who were like level 8s and 9s and stuff, even 7s, like I just was not as good, and I was very discouraged in my work ethic. My work ethic totally had a huge slope. Because of that, I had a ton of mental blocks. For example, there was a whole summer where I just could not vault. I would run to the vault and I would step on it and run past it. I wouldn't jump on the springboard. I could not hurdle. For an entire summer, I could not hurdle. I didn't know what it was, but I just couldn't do it. I'd run as fast as I can. I'd try to hurdle on. Even if I was just standing there, just like from like a little bit of room, I could not hurdle onto the springboard for the life of me. Don't even ask me how I got that back because I don't know how I got it back. But I had a lot of mental blocks and just a lot of things. Just I sucked and I just was not as good compared to the other people. A lot of just comparing myself, like, I know that's bad. But it just wasn't as fun because of that. But then I started getting really close with one of my coaches. I'm not going to say their names just because, like, you know, I don't need to. I started getting really close with one of my coaches who was very, very good at explaining things and helping get over mental blocks and helping do all this. So I kind of answered my question how I got my vault bag. I know it's partially because of her. Like, I know I got a lot of skills. I was pushed a lot harder with her once I got like closer to her, and she just helped me a lot more. And she, to this day, is one of my like idol people who I will look up to forever, because she was just a really good person and she was great at explaining things, and she was just a good person. Everything about her was good. She wasn't even like a mean coach, but she helped so much with my gymnastics, and she helped me get over so many fears. From there, that coach, I got really close to her. I got so good, well, not good, but I got way better at gymnastics. I tried a lot harder. But then she announced she was leaving the gym for personal reasons, and we all understood. We're all very sad about it, but we all understood it was like for the better. Her whole life wasn't revolved around gymnastics, and she had a life outside of gymnastics. She left, as well as another one of our head coaches, another huge impact on me, who was coaching me since I was in level 4, and both of them were coaching me since level 4, but she was definitely more there throughout my whole gymnastics experience. But she was becoming a teacher, like she was graduating from college, and just she had to leave just because she had a real job now. And so both of these two people, like, they left because they had very good reasons, but they also happened to be two of like the head coaches, two of the people that made huge impacts on gymnastics, like for the girls, the older girls and stuff. So they left, and this is where my story basically begins. So after they left, there was an entire summer. This is my summer going from sophomore year to junior year, so this was not that long ago. So basically all of the older girls were very upset about it, and they were like, well, if they're not here, then we don't have to be here mentally, and we don't, technically not even, most people were like, we don't even have to be here. Like, they would just leave in the middle of practice and just go home. And there were just a lot of negative attitudes, and these were coming from my friends and also me. I was a huge negative attitude, and I don't know why, but that really did have an impact on me. Like, a coach that has helped me through so much with gymnastics left, and I couldn't get like the same advice on some events from my other coaches, and they would try, but just the way the one coach had with words, she was really good at what she did, and I just feel like I wasn't getting better at all. My mental blocks started coming back, like everything was just bad. I had an awful work ethic, like it sloped down. Now it went down. Like, we're in the negatives with my work ethic. I would just like sit down and I'd be like, my ankle hurts. Like, even if I felt the slightest pain in my ankle, because I do have ankle problems, I'd be like, can I sit out and roll my ankle? Like, I was just so done. I was so over it. So all of the older girls, I was an older girl, all of these older girls, like my friends, we all had just terrible attitudes, which was shining down onto the younger girls who were looking up to us as gymnasts. So they started developing negative attitudes. We literally had to have like sit down talks during gymnastics. We would sit there instead of doing gymnastics, and my coaches, who were trying their absolute hardest, which I see that now, they were trying their absolute hardest to make things normal for us, even though two of the biggest coaches left. They were just trying really hard to make things normal and try to make people not as upset, but with the negative attitudes we were giving, there was no possible way for that to even happen. So we would have like sit down conversations where they'd be like, okay, there's new rules, like this is happening, this is happening. We would have times where we would set up a panel mat in the middle, and they'd split us up into teams of everyone in the gym, and we'd play like blind volleyball with one of those huge rubber workout balls, And just because they wanted us to do team bonding and team exercises to make us closer and happier, and there was definitely a lot of splitting up. They wanted us to be more of a family than we were, I guess. We weren't. We were so split up. We were negative. We were awful. The little girls were just trying to just do their thing, and it wasn't impacting them as much that these coaches left because they didn't have them for that long. So they were like, well, nothing's different. But then since we were giving negative attitudes, they just started, like, everything was a mess. It's a chain reaction. When you do something positively or negatively, it affects other people. The way you act affects people, and none of us were realizing that. Honestly, some of us were realizing it, but we just weren't caring. We were all just so over it and just the things that were happening, and literally just so much immaturity, and I take so much blame for that. And if any of my coaches during this time are watching this video, which I don't know if they are, like, I apologize for how immature I was. I literally, like, hate myself for that. I feel like such an awful person for affecting people's attitudes. Me and my friends were making coaching just terrible for my coaches. Like, my coaches would love to come to gymnastics and they would love to teach what they were doing, but I feel like they just I feel like they just dreaded coming to work and coaching our group of kids because we were so bad and didn't want to do anything and didn't want to get better. So that's that. Then moving on, you know, things got more normal. We were, like, used to our coaches being gone, and we had, like, you know, new coaches and stuff. We were basically warmed up. Same negative attitudes, because what you carry on through something, like, unless you really want it to change, nothing's gonna change. So basically, I was working harder again. I was getting more skills and stuff, but my negative attitude was definitely 100% still there. I was getting new skills. Then I left my club gym for high school gymnastics, which I did high school gymnastics my sophomore year because our team started, like, we actually got people into it. So I joined gymnastics sophomore year for my high school, and then I did it junior year. I started getting a ton of skills, like my front handspring front tuck was one. I was getting, like, front pikes. I was working on my layout, and then my last competition for high school season, I did, like, a round of whip back handspring back tuck, and that was, like, I was so excited. I was so thrilled, and I was gonna go back to my club gym and do those skills for competition season for my senior year, and I was gonna do, like, all this stuff, and I was so hyped. But basically, during high school gymnastics season, I stopped doing gymnastics at my club. Like, I just stopped. So I wasn't doing it at my club. So this is in, like, November maybe of junior year, basically 2 Novembers ago. So I was getting my skills and stuff, and the season ended. I improved a lot as a gymnast, and I wasn't as negative as I was before. So I was going to come back to my club gym, but I just was like, okay, like, I'll take, like, a few weeks off, and then a few weeks turned into, okay, I'll take, like, 2 months off. 2 months turned into, okay, I'm just gonna take the entire summer off, which turned into me not doing gymnastics my entire senior year. It was just because I didn't really want to go back, because I was excited that I had new skills, but after so long, I was like, well, I can't do these skills anymore. I probably lost half my skills, and that was a big thought that went through my head, was that I lost so many skills because I haven't been doing gymnastics for, like, 6 months. And so many people were like, Hope, come back. But really, I had a self-realization. Do they actually want me back? Like, yeah, my friends want me back, but do the coaches want me back? Do they really want to teach me and my negative attitude? And it was basically just a huge maturity lesson on my part. Like, I feel a lot more mature. I'm not as negative about certain things anymore because of that. That really has shaped me. Quitting gymnastics shaped me as a person. It made me less of a negative person, more positive. That's basically why I quit. It just turned into, like, I just didn't want to go back because I didn't want to make my coaches hate work again and stuff. So there's more to the story. There's a whole happy ending. Don't worry. So my senior year is almost over. I have 1 week of school left, and I miss gymnastics so much. I was like, I miss doing gymnastics. I miss being at the gym. That place was my home for 7, almost 8 years. Like, it literally was my second home. Some of my best friends to this day came out of there. I don't know. So I missed it a ton. So me and my one friend were like, okay, let's get a job at the YMCA, which is where I did gymnastics. Let's get a job there so we can coach. And I did get the job. I've been working there for not that long, maybe since February, I think. So it's been about 2 months since I've been there. And honestly, I am so happy that my gymnastics story has like a final ending. I am not done with gymnastics. Gymnastics is still going to be a part of my life forever, but now that I had my break from doing gymnastics, I'm no longer doing gymnastics, but I'm teaching the sport that I've loved for 8 years, 7 years. Like, I just feel like it's better now that I'm a coach. I carried my more positive attitude into the gym and the new me, and definitely it was a good thing that I quit gymnastics, but since gymnastics was a part of my life for so long, it's just, I'm very happy that I'm able to just be back there, and I coach with some of my friends who I used to do gymnastics with, and I still see some of my coaches there from time to time, and everything has just wrapped up. I love my job. So that is basically why I quit gymnastics. I hope you guys understand, and I hope this will lessen my comments that I get, like, why'd you quit gymnastics, why'd you do this? And I hope you guys understand, and yeah, so that's all. So make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel if you're not already. Sorry if this video was really long. I know it was really long, but whatever. So subscribe to my channel if you're not already. Comment down below just whatever you want, your opinions, like if you guys agree with why I left or disagree or whatever. But hopefully this will lessen the negative attitudes in my comments, so about why I quit gymnastics, and you guys actually understand. So thank you guys so much for watching. Also, if you don't know what to comment, comment some video requests because I'm gonna need them. And yeah, I will see you guys later. Bye!